Okay, guys, the next assignment that we worked on today was how to find latitude and longitude. Basically, what I explained to the class when we started was, traditionally, before, the emergence of GPS being, at our disposal on our cell phones, people would have to or find latitude and longitude manually. And this is pretty much what we're going to be going through today. Before we get started, I think it's probably important that I explain a little bit about latitude and longitude and the lines, okay, the characteristics of those lines. So we'll start with latitude first. So latitude lines are imaginary lines that circle the Earth, and they're also known as parallels. So I'm going to highlight that, as I think that's going to be an important word to remember. And latitude lines are going to run horizontally around the Earth. So on a flat map like this, latitude lines are going to be the ones that are moving across your paper from left to right or from right to left. And simply put, latitude lines, there are some very important ones, and we'll start with the word equator first. And this latitude line is at 0 degrees. And I'll explain why the equator is an important latitude line in just a second when we get down to the map portion of it. Now, longitude lines are going to be imaginary lines that run north and south, or that run top and bottom to your page. I'm just going to read this quickly. Longitude lines are imaginary lines that go from the North Pole to the South Pole, and they are called meridians. So that word is also going to be important as well. So on most flat maps, the longitude lines go from top to bottom. So the prime meridian, let's highlight that. It's going to pass through Greenwich, London, England, and it's at 0 degrees longitude. And we'll talk about some other meridians in a second. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it to the map, and I'm going to show you guys how to find latitude and longitude. So we'll start with point A, and point A is right here. So let's just highlight that quickly. Okay, so for point A, very simple. What we need to do before we do anything is we actually want to divide the world into hemispheres. Okay, so let's start with the equator first, and I mentioned before that that was going to be an important line of latitude. And the reason the equator is important, because it's going to divide the world up into two different hemispheres. So anything above the equator is going to be in the northern hemisphere. So I'm just going to write that with a black pen, that way you can see it. So anything above the equator is going to be in the northern hemisphere. So anything beneath the equator is going to be in the southern hemisphere. Okay, and that's going to be the first important latitude line that you learn. Now, the next latitude line that you're going to, or not latitude, the next longitude line that you're going to remember is something called the prime meridian. So the prime meridian. And that's going to divide the world, or the Earth, up into two different hemispheres as well. This is going to be the western hemisphere and the eastern hemispheres. So if I'm passing the prime meridian to the west, I'm in the western hemisphere. If I'm passing it to the east, I'm in the eastern hemisphere. Okay, now let's find the latitude and longitude for point A. And just to remember, guys, whenever I'm plotting latitude and latitude always goes first, and I have to make sure that I put a letter or the word if it's north or south of the equator, east or west of the prime meridian, etc. So let's start with latitude first for point A. This is point A right here. And point A is on, if you look closely, the lines that are running left to right, the horizontal lines, it's going to be 30 degrees north. So it's already written here, but point A is on 30 degrees north. And if you look, its longitude placement is, if you look closely on the lines that are running top to bottom, it's going to be on line 45, and it's going to be on the western hemisphere, so it's going to be 45 degrees west. So let's look at location B. So location B is the bottom here. We know that already it's in the southern hemisphere, and it's going to be on line, if you look at the lines that are moving across, line 60. So I'm going to write in 60 degrees south. And it's in the western hemisphere, so I know that it's past the prime meridian this way, so it's in the western hemisphere. And the line that it's on is going to be 105 degrees west. Okay, we'll do one more example, and I'll let you guys finish the rest. So point C, or location C, I'm at 75 degrees north. and I know that because it's on line 75, running left to right. And my longitude lines, the lines running top to bottom, or vertical, it's going to be on 90, and it's going to be in the eastern hemisphere on this side. So 90 degrees east. And there you go. There you have it. That is my latitude and longitude, how to find latitude and longitude on a flat map. Now, we're going to just quickly flip the page. And these are some important lines of latitude. We're going to start with latitude first. Now, some important lines of latitude. We'll start with the equator. So I just want to use my ruler here to identify the equator. Okay, and that's going to be at 0 degrees. I'm going to write in 0 degrees, and the word is going to be equator. And you notice how I don't put in north or south, right? Because the equator is directly on 0 degrees. Now, the important latitude line that it's just going to be above it is the Tropic of Cancer, and that's found at 23.5 degrees north. And we're going to write in Tropic of Cancer. And just above that, we're going to have the Arctic Circle at 22.5 degrees north. And we're going to write in the word Arctic Circle. And at 90 degrees north, we're going to have the North Pole. Okay, now at 23.5 degrees south, we're going to have the Tropic of Capricorn. At 66.5 degrees south, we're going to have the Antarctic Circle. And at 90 degrees south, we're going to have the South Pole. Okay, now we're going to go to important lines of longitude. So the first important line of longitude we're going to have is the prime meridian. And that's going to be at 0 degrees. And on the other side of that prime meridian, we're going to have the international dateline. And that's going to be at 180 degrees. Okay, and those are your important lines of latitude and longitude. I'll let you guys just take a look at it again. So starting here, we have the equator, just north of that at 23.5 degrees north, the Tropic of Cancer. At 66.5 degrees north, the Arctic Circle. At 90 degrees north, we have the North Pole. At 23.5 degrees south, the Tropic of Capricorn. At 66.5 degrees south, the Antarctic Circle. At 90 degrees south, we have the South Pole. And then for longitude, we have the prime meridian at 0 degrees and then international dateline at 180 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to end there. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. But however, that's latitude and longitude for you in a nutshell. Please finish this activity, and then please get started on the next activity that you will be submitting to me when I see you again. Okay, until then, have a good day. Thank you.